Okay, guys, welcome back to the show. And boy, do I have got a great guest for you today. He hasn't changed a bit. It's not his fault. Mr. Gene Snitsky, how are you doing, man?
What's up there, Maurice? I'm doing great. I'm over here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Just got home from the shop, Party One Surplus. If anybody's on the World Wide Web, that's what the www stands for on the internet when you put a website in case anybody was wondering. World Wide Web. You got that? So, yeah, check out our shop,
Got it, got
PriorityOneSurplus.com.
it.
I'm good to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. And if you're missing this podcast, it's not my fault.
Excellent, excellent. Let's start off with the shop, man. Tell us what you do over there.
Well, we have a surplus shop which we sell ammo, mags, survival gear, food items, medical supplies, clothing, military BDUs, tops, jackets, hats, helmets, all kind of stuff. It's in this day and age, you can never be too prepared. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah,
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 that's my
especially
shirt.
after the last
That's
couple of years we've had around the globe.
Hey, honey, I need you. Hurry up. We're on location here from Pennsylvania to Ireland. Get a shot of my shirt for these people real quick. Can you see it, Maurice?
Stay still.
Yes. Let
Now
me
keep
take
your eyes
myself
on
out of
my
the
back.
stream for a
Don't be looking
second.
at my butt. So there you
And
have it.
how is the shop going for you, man?
Tremendous. Very busy. Very busy. I tend to not talk too much wrestling at the shop, but we do get a lot of wrestling fans that come in for obvious reasons. So it's cool, But we do a lot of political talking, a lot of current events. But yeah, it's good times. I get to interact with all the people, which is fun. So that's always good. Makes the day go faster.
Yeah. And how far removed are you from the business now? Because I seen you made a couple of kind of appearances, or you're making some appearances coming up. Is that part of your life gone now?
No, I still do shows. I have just had wrestling icons of wrestling yesterday in Philly. My wife and I went down for that. We were there all afternoon. Then took her to do some sightseeing around Philly. We went to the Rocky Steps, did the Rocky statue, the museum, went down along the waterfront there on the other side. And then next Friday, I have a show, ISPW in Jersey for Tommy Fierro. And then Sunday in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania for Battlefield Pro Wrestling, which is run by my trainer's son, Alpha Jr. I trained with the Wild Samoans in Allentown, and his son took over the family business, and he started a training camp in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour from my house. So I still work with him. We do the last Sunday of every month. We have a show, and also a pro wrestling training camp. So if anybody out there is looking to become a professional wrestler and try to follow in my footsteps, reach out to Alpha Jr. at Battlefield Pro Wrestling in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, yeah, excellent stuff. It's glad that you're still knocking around the business as well. But we'll have to go back in time anyway to talk about a few things, as you probably would have guessed anyway that we're talking. And big thanks to Dan Madigan, ex WWE writer, for setting us up here. He kind of put you in the shits, man. You couldn't say no. He set up a group message with us.
That's okay. Dan's the man, man. No pun intended. I loved working with Dan at WWE. I'd like to, obviously, if something arose outside of wrestling that he'd be interested in working on with me, then I'd be happy to work with him some more because we all know he, pretty much wrote Kane's movie, and that was an awesome movie. I was there for the premiere, and you know, anything Dan asks me to do, I'll generally do it unless it involves taking off my clothes because I'm not that kind of guy.
was 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 Dan actually there your first night on Raw?
Oh, that's a tough one. I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone in 2004. But I would have to assume he was, because he created the whole storyline. And everything, man, it all happened so fast, to be quite honest with you. Like, I literally was in Louisville on Saturday. They called me. They're like, oh, we need you in Washington on Monday for Raw. I was like, all right. And I didn't even know what I was going to be doing. They just kind of sent me my travel. I got on the plane. I flew out there, stayed at the TV hotel, got up, went to the arena, just hung out at the arena all day. And then finally they came up to me and they're like, oh, we need you in the ring. I was like, all right. So went out and we walked through the, what I'd be doing with Glenn, hitting him with the chair, causing him to cause the miscarriage with Lita. And then, it just kind of snowballed after that, man. It was just crazy how fast that all took off. And it was pretty much a whirlwind after that point.
Yeah. How did you feel going in that night, knowing that your first thing on TV was going to be to cause someone a miscarriage?
Honestly, it didn't bother me. I mean, it's pro wrestling. Anything could happen. And I'm the type of guy, like, if somebody dares me to do something out there, I'll do it just for the reaction of it. So it's kind of ironic that that's what my debut turned out to be, because, I'll pretty much do anything on it there. And it's funny because now, like, people come in the shop and be like, hey, man, remember when you kicked that baby and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it just cracks me up, the stuff people remember all these years later.
Do you think that if you'd done the baby punt these days, there'd be a lot of shit about it, wouldn't there? You wouldn't kind of maybe not get away with it, or, the way the world is, they probably wouldn't find it as funny as we found it back then.
Yeah, that's a definite. I mean, they wouldn't get 100 yards within this storyline these days. It would be like, I could just imagine Dan pitching it, or whoever was, presenting the idea, and they'd be like, get out. There's no way that would fly these days.
Yeah.
But
how hands-on was Vince McMahon with you back then in that storyline?
Very hands-on. Him and I, we pretty much worked, everything out in the ring together, with especially the whole baby punt thing. And the thing with Glenn, just hitting him with the chair, he was there for all that too. And I could vividly remember Vince, like, talking to me and Kane, Glenn. When I say Glenn, I mean everybody pretty much knows it's Kane at this point. So, but Glenn was like, man, whatever you do, just hit me good with the chair. I was like, don't worry, I will. I was never concerned about my ability or my confidence. I was always a pretty confident guy. And, I played pro football before I got into wrestling, and Division I college football athlete. And I'm just got inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 2018 for football and my athletic background. So I knew I was going to do a good job. I was always, pretty confident in my abilities, and knew I would, no pun intended, but hit a home run.
No punt intended.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Then, like, obviously from then, the catchphrase, it wasn't my fault, that was a big thing as well. And obviously that's probably what people say to you that recognize you from then on a daily basis. Do you remember how that came about? Or was it just so off the cuff?
Well, I remember how it came about, but it was off the cuff. I went back the second week for my interview with JR, and he was like, so, you feel any remorse, or, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, JR, it wasn't my fault she was in the ring. She shouldn't have been in the ring in the first place. And then it just kind of, like I said before, just kind of snowballed. Stephanie, I can remember Stephanie coming up to me, and she's like, keep saying it's not my fault. No matter, in the interview and the pre-tapes, we're going to incorporate that into everything. I was like, all right. So it just kind of happened, organically. Just bam, there it was. And Like I can still remember like when I first hit Glenn with the chair, and he fell on Lita. The crowd instantly started chanting "Baby Killer," and I was like, "Oh, we got something here." Because as soon as people start chanting something, that it's gonna be good.
Yeah. And what's Glenn Jacobs like? I know a lot of people kind of had a glimpse into his life now since he's went into politics. Did you always find him that way? Very educated guy, nice guy.
Yeah, he was great to work with, man. It was like, he could have been like, "Hey, man, I don't want to do this storyline. I don't want to work with Snitsky," But he was very accommodating, very open to working with me. Kind of took me under his wing, and I have nothing but good things to say about him. It was awesome working with him. I learned a lot, just by being in the ring with him, and just the whole psychology of being a big guy and working, working your size and your character. I mean, probably one of the best ever in the history of pro wrestling, right there. So to learn from him and to be able to be in the ring with him on a weekly basis was, the best learning experience on the fly that you could ever ask for.
Yeah, he's actually my personal favorite of all time, actually, Kane. I think he's tremendously underrated in the business.
Yeah, no, he was always one of my favorites too. That's why it was kind of cool to be able to work an angle with him. My first storyline at WWE, I was like, man, this is awesome, because I always was a huge fan of his, and now getting to know him and being in the ring with him, and now he's a friend of mine. So it's crazy how life takes you turns, and just the way things work out. It's crazy.
Is it kind of surreal in a way looking back on it, because it's so long ago, but it probably doesn't seem that long ago?
I wouldn't say surreal. I mean, I always knew, like, as a kid, when I was like 13, 14 years old, I would tell people, I'm like, man, you're going to either watch me on Sundays in the NFL or Monday on Monday Night Raw. Like, there was always something I wanted to do, because I always wanted to be a professional athlete, and I always wanted to be a pro wrestler. So I went as far as I could with football. And once I was done football, I instantly got into pro wrestling. There was no lag in time, no lapse. I got done playing football in 95, retired from pro football. 96, I started training to wrestle. So I got right into it. I knew I wanted to do it, and I was going to do it, and I did it. So.
Yeah. The last thing on the Kane stuff anyway, can you talk to me about that day where they pitched this baby punt to you, and like how much fun was it just to do that? Because they obviously the element of surprise with the people that were there as well.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like, I watch it back and I laugh. I show my wife and she just laughs, because it's like I walk out with the fake baby, number one. Number two, I'm talking to it like it's a real baby. And then number three, they're making all the baby sounds. It's like, wah, wah. I'm like, shut up. It's like, it's so funny. I watch it back now and I just laugh. It's great. And then like the whole setup of the scene, and I can remember walking through it with Vince in the ring, and he's like, Snitsky, whatever you do, don't fuck this up. I'm like, Vince, listen, I was an all-area punter in high school. It's gonna be amazing, I'm telling you. So, yeah, we laugh. Like, my wife just gets the biggest chuckle out of it. We watch it. It's just funny. Like, I think it's hilarious. People ask me, like, how'd you stay in character when you were doing that? Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, I get it all the time. I'm like, how did you stay in character, man? How did you not break character? I'm like, well, because I'm a professional. It's what I do.
Yeah. How many times did you practice it? How many times did you practice it, or did you practice it?
I didn't need to practice, buddy. When the red light's on, it's go time. There's no practice. You can't practice that. Come on. It's just, you do it. You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't practice it at all. We walked through it, like what we'd be doing, and like, that kind of stuff. But the only time I ever kicked the baby was the time you saw it on TV.
Wow. Excellent. Vince McMahon obviously is a hot topic of conversation all the time in the wrestling world, whatever about what went on last year and stuff like that. But when you were there, how was he to work with?
Oh, he's great. I always got along great with Vince. I always could walk up to him and approach him and talk to him about anything. Like I never felt intimidated by him or like scared to talk to him. You get a lot of guys that you hear, oh, he's intimidating, he's this, he's that. I never thought he was. I mean, I'd wait after the shows and always thank him. Like I'd always stay after the show was over, wait till he came out to go to his limo just to shake his hand and be like, "Thank you, Mr. McMahon. I appreciate the opportunity." Like I did it after every Monday Night Raw. I just appreciated the opportunity. I mean, it was, he's putting me out there on a stage of millions and millions of people to do my craft, to be able to perform. I mean, it's like, I'm from a small coal mining town in Pennsylvania. It's kind of, it's cool to be able to go out and perform in front of millions of people every week. So, I was born in Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania, a town of 3,000 some people with one stoplight. And there I am on, Monday Night Raw in front of 7 million people. It's like, it's cool. It's like, how do you not thank the guy for that opportunity,
Yeah, totally agree with you. Do you watch much of the current product these days, or are you a fan of the kind of direction it's in now? Obviously, it's a lot different than when you were there.
My wife and I DVR it and then we'll watch it back. But I mean, a lot of stuff, to be honest with you, I fast forward through because it doesn't interest me. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like the acrobatics and all that kind of stuff. Like Strowman and Bray Wyatt, like they're more my cup of tea. Because I got into watching wrestling when I was like 10 years old in the 80s. So it would have been, I like the larger than life characters, the guys that stand out that are, larger than life. And a lot of the product these days is just average looking guys, that, if you're walking down the street and you see them, you don't do a double take. When I was getting into the business, like I was always having people like, man, you must be somebody. Did you play pro football? Are you a pro wrestler? Like I stood out in a crowd. A lot of the guys that are there now don't really stand out in a crowd.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see a lot of talk online now about these guys that ambush pro wrestlers in the airport, to sign all these things. I think with Rey Mysterio, these guys came up to him with like 50 pops in the airport like a few weeks ago to sign, and he refused to, and he was right to do so. What do you think about stuff like that? Do you ever have people kind of, when you were at that level, kind of invading your privacy, or how did you deal with that?
Well, touching upon what I just said about being from a small town, like, everybody knew where I lived. Everybody knew like my truck. Everybody knew, where I worked out. So, at certain times it would be a pain in the butt, but you got to look at, the whole perspective of it. Without all the fans, there'd be no Snitsky. Without all the fans, there'd be no pro wrestling. Without all the fans, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living. So in that perspective, it didn't bother me. The only times it would bother me is like if I was having dinner or eating, or like, someone would come up, "Hey, I hate to bother you, but," and I'd be like, "Well, why are you bothering me while I eat then?" Like, just the only time that it was, a nuisance. I'll sign autographs. I'll take pictures with anybody. Like, every day at the shop, pretty much I'm either taking a picture or signing autographs for people, or, something. And that's cool because it's, works both ways. They come in, they shop at my store, they, put money in my pocket. So at least I could do is, take a picture, sign an autograph, talk to them for a few minutes,
Yeah. Is there anyone that stands out to you on, say, the WWE roster that you'd like to wrestle if you were to go back there?
Oh, definitely Strowman. I get that all the time. They're like, "Oh man, that'd be so great to see you wrestle Strowman." Nah, 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 nah. So that'd definitely be one guy. And then, I trained with all the Samoans. Alpha was my trainer here in Pennsylvania at the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Center. So, obviously wouldn't mind wrestling Roman Reigns. That'd be cool. Because I traveled with his brother, Matt. Matt and I used to travel together back in the day. And I traveled with Eki Umaga before he passed away. So I'm really tight with the family. So it would be cool to be able to, perform with him on that stage.
Yeah, I'd be looking at you as well, and I'd be thinking that if Bray Wyatt was putting a Wyatt family together, I think Snitsky would fit in there as well. Do you think so?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've gotten that quite often as well. Like, man, it'd be so cool to see you like as, Bray Wyatt's uncle or dad or something. I'm like, well, hell, I ain't that old, but but it would be fun. I definitely think I could add. add something to it, no doubt.
Were you ever close to coming back over the years, maybe for Royal Rumble or something like that?
There was talks at a certain point, and then just, I don't know why it never materialized, or what the holdup was or what the issue was, but I know I had a couple people pushing for me to come back. Like Arn Anderson was a big supporter of mine. I loved working with Arn. Arn's awesome. Dean Malenko, just ran into Dean yesterday at the convention, and those guys are always pushing for me to come back. And Marty Miller, who's one of the producers now, I think he's running NXT. He's a Pennsylvania guy, and I would always play in his golf charity event every summer, and he would always be like, "Snitsky, man, we need to get you back. We need to get you back." So I don't know what the whole behind the scenes thing was or what was going on, but there was a lot of guys pushing for me to come back, but it just never materialized. But I mean, as the saying goes in pro wrestling, never say never, because I'm a walking character, to this day. I mean, look at me. 53 years old and probably the best shape of my life, to be honest with you. I had an amazing beard, thanks to my wife, because I couldn't braid this damn thing if my life depended on it. And I have to say, I'm still as ruggedly handsome as ever. I have my special hat on for you.
Bearded for a pleasure. Excellent. I didn't want to say how handsome you are because I was afraid you'd hang up the stream.
No, you could. I mean, I tell everybody, so it's okay to hear it from other people too. So,
you wrestled a couple of big matches with John Cena, consummate professional. People would say, what was he like to work with?
Oh, John's great, man. You hear a lot of people bashing Cena, but man, he's awesome. He was so easy to work with, so easy to set up matches with. I mean, he's just. If you look up professionalism in pro wrestling, he has to definitely be at the head of the list, because that guy, it doesn't matter who he wrestles or what scenario is or what the storyline is. He not only tries to make himself look good, but he'll go above and beyond to make you or whoever he's wrestling look good. But I only have one complaint with John. He broke my ribs. He broke my rib one time, and I often have people at the shop, hey, how was Cena? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, well, other than breaking my rib, he's pretty awesome. And they'll be like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So then I got to show them the little spot. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a bulging rib right there. That's from John. Wow. He broke my rib. That sucked. But other than that, he made up for it, though, because he hooked me up with a pair of Under Armour sneakers back when he had his Under Armour contract. So I can't say nothing bad about the guy.
That was his gift to you.
Yeah. I still have them, too. I still wear them once in a while.
Yeah. What was CM Punk like? Because I know you guys wrestled a couple of matches, and everyone has got either the love or the hate.
Well, I mean, I never really interacted much with him outside of wrestling, but all the interactions that I did have with him were, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about the guy. I like him. I always got along with him. He broke my nose the one time with his finish move, and he was, beyond apologetic, and, called me, made sure I was okay, the whole 9 yards. And, it's pro wrestling, man. It's not tiddlywinks. Shit happens, and, it is what it is. But it's cool because now it makes for good stories when I'm at the shop, it all goes hand in hand. And I can blame all my sinus issues on him now, too.
So that's Cena with the rib, Punk with the nose. What's the worst injury that you got in the WWE, do you think?
Probably the broken orbital bone when Maven popped me in the eye socket. He was supposed to come off the ropes with a flying forearm, which turned into a flying elbow into my eye socket. And I just heard a crunch. And by the time I got up, I was in a pool of blood and my eyelid was hanging down. I mean, that sucked. But I got to hit him with a chair afterwards, so I bent the chair over his head, which was nice.
making me laugh.
Yeah.
Obviously, people always talk about the locker room. What was the locker room like when you were there? Because I hear contrasting reports from different people. And was the Undertaker the guy that kept everyone together?
I mean, I wouldn't say that kept everybody together, but I mean, there was that level of respect with all the older guys. Because when I trained to wrestle, when I was training, Pops would always tell us, you know, respect the business, respect the guys, go in, introduce yourself to everybody, say hello, and then just, go off onto the side and, be seen and not heard kind of thing. So that's how I broke into the business, man. I just, I respected all the veterans that came ahead of me, and, just did my thing, man. I wasn't, the type of guy that was going to, walk in and think I was a superstar kind of guy. I just walked in, introduced myself, did what I had to do, and that was about it. But yeah, Taker had they had the wrestlers court back in the day, and you hear a lot of the horror stories about it. I never witnessed it or never was involved in that, but I always got along great with JBL, got along great with Undertaker, got along great with all the veterans. So I never had any issues. I blended in, man. Everybody enjoyed hanging out with me because they always had fun. We always got into something or had fun or did something. So, I was always one of those guys that, hey, Snitsky, what are you doing? Come hang out with us, blah, blah, blah. So I never, I never had any issues, man.
Yeah, and another veteran that was there at the time, and I always ask people about their memories with the man, would be Chris Benoit, and what he was like to you as well.
Chris was great, man. I had some of my best matches with him, honestly. When we did the whole ECW thing, him and I wrestled a lot. I had a lot of hardcore matches with him, and man, he was easy to wrestle, easy to work with, and I like laying my shit in, so you didn't have to worry about being snug with Chris, and I was the same way to him. I was like, dude, if you're gonna hit me, because it has to look like you're hitting me, and that's just how it was, Same thing with Hardcore Holly. Like Hardcore Holly, people talk shit about him, and it's like, dude, it's just a solid, snug wrestling match. If you can't take it, find a different profession. You shouldn't be in pro wrestling,
Yeah, yeah. And like after a while, there's a few different elements to your character over the years, and a few strange tag team partners. One being Heidenreich. What was he like to work with? Remember, they put you two guys together, and why did they put you two guys together? Do you think?
Well, they were putting us together to go towards a tag with Taker and Kane, I think. And like I said earlier, one of those things that just kind of fell to the wayside. Don't know why, don't know what the reason was, but I think they were kind of leaning towards doing that because we jumped them at the one pay-per-view, and then Kane came out of the coffin and all that stuff, and that's kind of the way they were heading with it. And then you know how wrestling is; things could change in the drop of a dime. So it never materialized, but we did have one of the creepiest, most interesting backstage segments, though.
Yeah, he had a few of them with Michael Cole as well. But yeah, you're one. What was it? What was it you said? I like what you do to babies. Isn't that what he said to you?
I said, I went, I like your poetry. And he's like, I like what you do to babies. But we were like nose to nose, breathing real heavy. It was like kind of, it was kind of creepy, but it was fun.
They always had like a kind of a sinister edge.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm the type of guy. I'll do anything for a reaction. I'll do anything for entertainment purposes. And I mean, they'd come to me with the stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is great!" Like I loved all the off the wall stuff. Like that's to me what pro wrestling is. Yeah. It's like the off the wall stuff, the crazy shit that you want to do but you never did, but you watched on TV. You know what I mean? I got to do it and get paid well for it and travel the world. So hey, I'm good, man. Tell me what to do, I'll do it. I don't care.
Was there ever anything that they pitched to you that you wouldn't do, or was there ever an idea so crazy maybe that they backed out of?
No. Nope. Now I sucked Mae Young's toes backstage at WrestleMania. What more can you ask for? And she loved every
What
minute
was that
of it.
experience?
Just
Did you
saying.
practice that one?
I don't have to
Did
practice.
you
My wife
practice
will
that
tell
one?
you. No, I don't have to practice. My wife will tell you I'm a professional foot connoisseur. So,
Absolutely.
and
Fantastic.
for the record, Mae Young wanted more. She insisted I keep going, but I had to stop when they yelled cut. So,
Yeah. That is absolutely hilarious, man.
she was
Jesus
awesome.
Christ.
Her.
Do you remember
They
when
were so easy to work with, man. Oh my god, we had so much fun filming that pre-tape.
Do you remember when they repackaged you with the shaved head and the colored teeth, and what was the idea behind that kind of repackaging of Snitsky, do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't say repackaging number one. It was more like he wanted me to be like the Kane of ECW because that was when they switched over to ECW and had me go over to do the ECW stuff. So I think Vince's vision for it was to have me like the Kane of ECW. So, I mean, I was fine with it. I got another action figure out of it. I got a beautiful action figure sitting in my office with that exact same look. So, I mean, how many people you know that have their own action figure? Just saying.
Not very many. Not very
Exactly.
many.
And I got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it's like I said, man, I'm a professional. I'm there, you know, I'm a team player. Vince came to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I got this vision. I want you to do this, this, and this." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, at first I was kind of like, "Well, you do know I'm going to look just like Kane, right?" And he's like, "That's fine because you're going to be on ECW. You're going to be ECW's version of Kane." I was like, "Okay." So once he put it in those terms, I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." The only thing that sucked was having to paint my teeth with that stuff every day. That was a real pain in the ass. That was not fun. Because as you can see,
what was Johnny Ace like backstage?
Oh, hold on one second. Before we move on to
Go
the
ahead.
next thing, I just got to say, as you can see, I have very beautiful teeth and an amazing smile.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, Johnny Ace was fine, man. I got along good with Johnny. Yeah. That's what your question was, right?
And a lot of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good, man. I got along great with him. I got along great with everybody. I mean, like I said, I have no ill will towards anybody. I still go to shows. I took my wife up to Wilkes-Barre the last time they were there. You know, her and I went backstage, hung out, talked to Hunter, talked to, everybody. And we had a blast. It was fun. I like seeing the guys. I like seeing my old buddies. Shelton Benjamin's there still. He was one of the guys that I hung out with when I was there. We, caught up with Shelton, caught up with all the other people, and, got to meet some of the new people. My wife's a big wrestling fan as well. So she likes to go and see the behind the scenes stuff and get to see everybody, meet everybody. That was the first time she got to meet, Triple H. So that's cool, doing stuff like that. I still keep my name out there,
And is it completely different now to when you were there in terms of being backstage? What's it like compared to when you were there, just from being there?
I mean, it seems pretty low key still. I mean, there's nothing out of the ordinary that I noticed. The guys still go out to the ring and work on stuff and, train and, catering's still good because I, had to hit catering for my free meal, of course. And then, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. I think what you said earlier is kind of how I feel about watching it. I still watch it. I was at WrestleMania last year, but I just feel that there's not enough time put into characters, and that's not just a WWE thing. That's the other companies as well. There's not enough time, I think, put into people's characters, the larger than lives, as we kind of went through earlier. And even someone like your character, like a lot of time and effort went into your character. And now I just see guys go out and it's just wrestling, and wrestling is fine, but as Dan would say as well, Dan Madigan, there's more to it than just the match.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I always say. Like for instance, my wife, if we talk after a show or something, I'm like, the cool thing is, like, I get to add my personality to it because a body slam's a body slam, a suplex is a suplex. It's how you personalize it that makes it stand out to the crowd, to the fans, to be able to relate to you at an emotional level, because that's the whole catch to wrestling. You got to get that emotional level with the fans. If you're a bad guy, you want to do something to that where they hate you so bad that, as soon as you walk out through the curtain, there's that visceral reaction. And that's just, luckily I've always had the knack to piss people off. It just comes natural.
And what's your plans going forward then for the rest of the year? What do you see yourself doing? Are you still looking into doing movies, or how's that side of things going?
The whole COVID thing kind of killed the movie deal. We had a lot of momentum going. I mean, I co-wrote, co-produced, starred in. I was the fight coordinator, the stunt coordinator. I wore a lot of hats for my film, 100 Acres of Hell, which you could still see on Amazon, I believe, and all the streaming services. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I would appreciate it. 100 Acres of Hell. It's actually, we won the best horror feature film at the Philadelphia Film Festival. So I'm proud of it. It came out really good. Just bad timing. The movie debuted in October of 19, and then in March of 20, the whole world shut down. So it was like, came to a screeching halt. But it's still out there if anybody would like to watch it. It's, I'm proud of it. I spent a lot of time and effort into developing it. 10 years of my life went into that. And, never say never. I mean, I'm open to anything to keep my name out there, anything to cross over to another genre, anything to help the shop, anything to help, anything. I like being in the public eye. I like, entertaining. I like performing. I've been, always been, like I said earlier, the type of guy that if you dared me to do something, I would do it just for a reaction. So, it suits me. I've had a pretty nice run with this whole wrestling thing. So still enjoy doing it, and I'll continue to do it until I don't enjoy it. And the body still holds up well. I'm still feeling good, still work out hard. I got a full gym in my basement at the house here. My wife works out hard. She's a former college volleyball player and 6'1" and jacked. So I got to keep up with her,
Yeah. And man, look, it was an absolute pleasure to catch up with you today. And I hope we can see you on the big screens again soon.
Carolyn, come here. Now that I plugged my wife, I gotta show her off. So she's coming. Hold on.
Absolutely.
Come and say hi to all our fans in Ireland. This is my lovely wife, Carolyn.
Hello.
She usually walks around the house in just the underwear and a bra. So I made her get dressed for this.
Yeah, because YouTube would only take the video down. You're right, Gene. Thanks very much.
I'm not just another pretty face,
Pleasure to talk to you, man. Thanks so much.
You as well.
No worries. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. And all my fans over in Ireland, I love you guys. Thanks for being a Snitsky fan. And as far as that goes, all my Snitsky fans all around the world, stay tuned because I just signed with Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm going to have some merchandise coming out and a store set up, and you'll be able to get all your Snitsky merch through Pro Wrestling Tees. And like I said earlier, stop by, check out the website, PriorityOneSurplus.com. And if you don't, it's not mine.